Alright. We got ourselves basically another new thing to do. This is basically just the one subject commentary where I will take one thing I've heard or thought about as of recently, and I'm just going to talk about it because I thought it was important. This one probably won't be as long of a video because I'm only going to be doing one subject. It's probably going to be 45 minutes of me just surfing and talking about something that has pissed me off. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. That's basically the premise of what this is going to be. So buckle up because we got a little bit to talk about. And once when I find a server, that's when I will start talking about what I need to talk about. So get ready. Alright, we'll start with this one because I'm a little bit more familiar with this map. But okay, so there we go. Alright. So now then. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna try to be as open as possible when talking about this, and I'm going to try to make it very clear that I am not trying to be like a biased person. I just simply thought it would be good for entertainment purposes and maybe to help people have a little bit more insight into what's going on. So basically, as of 2 or 3 days ago, I saw on this person's story on Snapchat them bitching and complaining about how, you know, the LGBTQ community has a whole entire month to themselves. Meanwhile, the troops only get a day, whatever. Obviously, that's been like a pretty common theme for people to hate as of like the past few years, which, to be fair, I do kind of get it. But also keep in mind, and I tried talking to someone about this, like bitching to someone about this, like before I actually like became a little bit more open about it, like to the public, just because, you know, I wanted to make sure I was making a valid point about it. But this person heard me talk about it and was kind of like, yeah, you're pretty much right. So basically, I see it as, if you don't believe that the LGBTQ community should have their own month, then so be it. But you cannot say that, you know, some, like, troops, yes, they probably do deserve a little bit more love and respect based on what they've done, because obviously, you know, free country, people are allowed to be gay, people are allowed to be open about their sexuality and all that shit, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that people can be who they are. But at the same time, you shouldn't be going onto social media and bitching and complaining about it. Because first of all, it's social media. Everyone's going to see it. You're going to get flack for it. And then you shouldn't be bitching and complaining when you get flack for it. Because it's social media. It's literally in the name. Social. People talk to each other. People see the things that you post. It's in the name, and people need to get that right. So, after this person posted on their story, you know, complaining about, you know, whatever the fuck they're complaining about, I was just like, I didn't say anything. Oh, hey, I actually did really good that run. That's my personal best. But anyways, so, you know, I was thinking, why does it matter? Or not why does it matter, but why do you feel the need to post about it and then also make a follow-up post saying like, I don't know why people have to give me a bunch of shit for this. Like, because you just opened, like, you just made a very open opinion on social media. And keep in mind, people don't like opinions nowadays. They just don't. And I don't know why. People are just sensitive, and it's annoying. Now, obviously, you could say I'm sensitive because I'm making an entire stream topic on it. But no, I'm just simply, what's the word? Bringing attention to the fact that people are hypocrites and that they need to learn more respect for people and they need to learn more respect for what other people have to say. You dig? Because, you know, if I were to go onto social media and post something stupid like, I don't know, I don't want to say anything like super, super heinous, but you get the idea. Like, if I were to say something super hurtful about, like, the gay community or something like that and say, like, I don't know, like, all gays deserve to die or something like that, or just something completely heinous that I would never actually say. Like, and then if I were to post that and then not expect to get some kind of backlash on social media, then you're fucking crazy. Like, you cannot expect to say anything about the LGBTQ community or the troops or anything that is in the spotlight without getting flack. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to defend the people who are getting flack for it, because to be quite fair, I hate everyone who posts anything on social media about current events or politics or BLM or LGBTQ or anything like that, just because it needs to be stated. Like, especially at, like, my age, like, that shit is just, why do you need to be concerned about it? Like, I understand if you're interested in it, and I understand if maybe you have your own personal opinions and beliefs about it, but you do not have to make them public. Like, is that understood by, you know, a fair, like, I hope that is understood by, like, a fair amount of the community out there who uses social media, that not everyone needs to see what you believe, what you hear, you know. It's one thing if you want to make some clarification on something, if you're just like, look, I do not support the LGBTQ community, but, you know, they are people and I will give them the respect they deserve, but I do not think that they should have a whole month to themselves. I personally think that is much better than just going out and saying, like, why the fuck does the LGBTQ community have a whole month and the troops only have one fucking day? It's like, well, first of all, motherfucker, the U.S., like, I'm not going to try to get into history too much. This is going to make me sound like an idiot. But, you know, it's a relatively valid point. Why the fuck do we have to take so much pride in our troops when we already take enough pride in them when we've won almost every single war that the U.S. has been in? That's enough pride for the troops to carry on their back as it is, and I respect them for that, and I will never, ever, ever stop respecting them for that. But, and also because that I do not think that they should only have one day for respect. And then I also do think it is a little bit disrespectful to have the LGBTQ community to have a whole month to themselves, but also keep in mind they are people, and they have feelings, and, you know, they do suffer a lot. And they might not suffer as much as the troops, but, you know, they don't put themselves up to that pain, you know? Like, they don't choose to be gay. They don't choose to want to be in a woman's body. They don't choose to be in a man's body. It's just how they feel. It's what they... You know, it is kind of their choice, but at the same time, it's what they feel. It's what they feel is right, you know? And, you know, they can't control that. So if you're going to go on social media and rag on these people and then, like, also compare it to the troops, I would just recommend not doing that, because it makes you sound like a psychopath, and it really makes it seem like you have no consideration for anyone else. And it really does make you seem like a one-sided person when you're not willing to take other people's opinions. And I once again, I'm not calling out like a specific group of people or anything. I'm just saying in general, if you do not respect other people's opinions and you just give them flack for it, then, or if you do not respect other people's opinions and you disrespect what they say and think that only you're right, and don't take what they say to heart at least a little bit, then I personally think that you're a fucking asshole. And that's the bottom line. And I will be as black and white about it as possible. If I personally think that you do not want to make the time to hear about anyone else's opinion or care about anyone else's feelings, then I think that you should just get the fuck out, and I desire to never see you again. Plain and simple. You know, if you're not going to come around and realize that a lot of people have specific opinions and feelings, then you do not deserve to interact with anyone except for the brain-damaged people that you will associate with who have the exact same opinion as you. Therefore, there will be no arguing in your group, and you will be ignorant for the rest of your life, because all you know is what you know, and you don't have input from anyone else. And personally, that is the problem with today's society, and, you know, I do think that is what is wrong with today's society. You can't take a joke, can't take criticism, can't take opinions, can't take different ideas without them sounding outlandish and weird, or even taking normal ideas and putting a twist on them, and people will just call you a fucking idiot for doing it. So, and like, people will call you a fucking idiot for that, but people won't call out other people for not allowing other people to share their opinions. Like, posting on your story and then not expecting to get maybe an opinion from a person or two, and then, and then like posting responses to that, even like that, it's just petty. It's stupid. I mean, it just shows that you're begging for attention, and that's the only reason why you did it, and I think you deserve a slap in the face for that. And, there's a lot of real people out there who will call you out, and they might not give you their opinion. They'll just straight up call you out and call you fucking idiot, and I think those people also deserve a little bit more praise, and I think they should get a full month of praise. I mean, come on, let's be real here, because all the real people out there who are shutting these people down and just like, hey, fuck you, you don't matter because you just want attention, I love those people, and I aspire to be one of those people. And I'm sorry if you don't like that, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I think it's funny. I really do. I think it's funny to see these people complain about all their issues on social media just for people to shut them down and be like, your problems don't fucking matter. Like, you're 15, 16, 17, maybe even 18 years old, and you're on social media bitching and complaining when it's the summertime. You should be out partying like there's no tomorrow. Like, we just got out of fucking, like, a pandemic, and people are still staying at home, sitting on their phones, bitching on their stories about, like, first world problems and shit. Like, think about it. If you were, like, all these people, like, if I were to take a general, like, consensus right now and ask people what they are doing, like, if I were to just take, like, a quick survey and ask people what they were going to be doing this afternoon, this summer, assuming that they're out of school, they don't really work or anything, what would they be doing? And I could guarantee you that maybe, like, 5% of people would be like, sit on my phone and post on my story and get on Snapchat. Like, who the fuck would do that? Like, who would answer that question when it's a nice, like, 80-degree weather day, like, you go outside, play some basketball, get a workout in, maybe not stare at your fucking phone and, like, increase your chances of having, I don't know, getting fucking brain damage from the amount of bullshit you see on the internet. Like, you would think that people would know better, especially after a pandemic, but, people are just fucking stupid, and a lot of people won't be able to handle that reality when they're faced with it. And I just, I feel like there's another point that I had to bring on about this, but, and I feel like I have been repeating myself a lot, but sometimes you cannot stress this stuff enough, especially when it pisses you off enough. And I can guarantee that there will be people out there who, come at me for, like, one of these days for, like say someone posts on their story, or, like, I'm just talking to someone on social media, and I'm just like, oh, hey, I believe in this, and, I respect what you have to say, but if you don't respect what I have to say, then I'm sorry. And if they get mad, then I don't know what to really tell them, except for just give them a big middle finger and just call it quits. Like, I mean, it's like, okay, like, if you think I aspire to be around a person like you, then you are sorely mistaken, because the universe does not revolve around you, and you need to realize that. Like, how many people think that the universe revolves around them is fucking insane, and it's the exact same people who post on their story and talk about all these things that just don't affect them. Like, if you're not gay, don't post about LGBTQ things. If you're not in the military, don't post about military things. If you don't have cancer, don't post about cancer unless you're trying to spread awareness for it. Or don't try to, like, it's just a basic concept that needs to be followed by everyone. It's common knowledge. Like, you cannot tell me that it is not common knowledge to, keep some of your opinions to yourself. Like, there's too much information, and they're sharing your opinion. Writing a paragraph on your story saying how much you do not think the LGBTQ community does not need to have a month to themselves, that's oversharing. At that point, it's not even an opinion. That's you looking for attention because you're oversharing. That's like snapping someone a picture of you taking a shit, like in the fucking sink. Like, no one needs to see that, because that's too much information. Like, I don't want to see your puckering asshole over a sink taking a shit in the sink. Like, that's fucking disgusting. It's too much information, and I don't want to see it. Now, I understand that was a very vivid image, but you understand where I'm coming from. It pisses me off because I don't want to see it, and I don't want to hear it, and I don't want to hear anyone else's opinion on it. That's for damn sure, because they will never shut the fuck up. So, you can... I mean, I say I bring up a decent point, but I mean, of course, you know, that's also my opinion, and I'm entitled to that as well. But you know what? As long as I'm out here bitching and complaining about, people who piss me off, I'm pretty sure a lot of people will respect me for that because I'm voicing my own opinion, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but it's also a loved opinion. I feel like, calling people out for their bullshit and saying that, personally, they probably actually don't matter because they're just hiding behind a phone and talking all this shit, when in reality they'll come up to you in person and say nothing, and if anything they'll probably kiss you on the fucking boots because they don't know what to say because they're too much of a pussy to say anything in real life and actually call you out. And and if they know that, or if they know that you will willingly snap back at them for saying what they have to say, then they will not say anything because they're scared to be proven wrong. And, if you can't stick to your guns about a lot of things, or if you can't stick to your guns about a certain opinion, especially if you feel so strongly about it, and, you post about it on your story, and all that, then you know what? Go you. Like, yeah, that's all I have to say, is just fucking go you. Cookie? You want a cookie? Brownie? I mean, sticker? I could toss you one real quick. I'll whip one up for you. But... I don't fucking know. People, there needs to be a certain level, like, there should not be a learning gap between these people, no matter what age you are. Like, man or woman, gay or straight, like, it does not matter. Like, trans or not, mental disability or not, you should be able to understand, like, what oversharing is and what understanding other people's opinions are. Like, I would even say that a 10-year-old boy, a 7-year-old boy, 7-year-old girl would even know, like, what respecting someone else's opinion is, and they're in, like, the first fucking grade. Like, and then you get half the idiots out here who are posting on their story about Black Lives Matter, about the LGBTQ community, about the troops, about even politics, like Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, or even, fucking Joe Biden. Like, you're gonna hear that shit all the time, and you're gonna hear other people's opinions on it. Now, I'm not gonna get into politics because I fucking hate politics, and I'm just gonna throw it out there right now. So if you're ever expecting a stream about politics, then you can get the fuck out of here. And so, I don't know. I have no respect for these people, and I feel like a lot of people need to be more vocal about calling these people out for not taking other people's opinions and only wanting attention. So, honestly, I could probably end the stream there, but this is only about a 20-minute stream, and I said it would be about 45 minutes, so I'm going to deliver on that promise. So, I guess if I'm going to have to build on to that fact, I hate people who... So, I know, one subject stream, am I right? I know, I'm terrible at this, but people who will leave you out of nowhere, I know this is, a bit of a random topic, but people who will leave you out of nowhere, so say you were, you became good friends with someone, and whether it's through social media or, like, through real life, you text and shit like that. When someone drifts apart from you, am I the only one who feels like that is probably one of the worst feelings on the face of the planet? Like, I know you see shit like that on, TikTok and Instagram. If you follow, like, meme accounts and stuff like that, like, you'll see, like, a bunch of depressing shit. It's like, have you all ever noticed, like, the hardest part of someone's life is, like, when someone starts to leave and drift away? It's like, yes, I get it, like, whatever. But how about instead of seeing it through, like, just a video on TikTok, how about I explain this to you a little bit? So, I talk to, a fair amount of people, and, I get to know a lot of people's backstories and their opinions and all that, and, it helps with a lot in life because it helps put a different perspective on things, and, that's kind of why I have decent speaking skills. God, I can't even say skills right or speaking right. As I say, I have good speaking skills, but I can usually break down a lot of things from a good standpoint so people can understand. And a lot of times it does break out into a lot of arguments because a lot of people are just like, how the fuck do you know that? And like, you're fucking lying. You're like, whatever. Like, I don't know. People for some reason are just fucking weird and they don't really want to hear what I have to say for some reason sometimes, even though I'm kind of right. But anyways, so back to what I was saying, when people leave you, like, it doesn't matter if it's a boy, girl, guy leaving a guy, girl leaving a girl, dude leaving a girl, girl leaving a guy. If you're just friends and, say you're snapping someone, you've been talking for about a month, you're not like dating or anything, but you're friends, you've gotten kind of close. The moment that you see them leave you unopened or delivered, even if they're just busy, doesn't that shit hurt just a little bit? Like, if anyone has ever been in the same boat, like, you've been in a relationship and you're just like, dude, that shit fucking hurts. Like, that's kind of how I felt, like, a few days ago, because I was just like, I don't know, I was talking to this person, and, I'd grown to like this person a lot, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm going to try to stick with this person for a little while and see how this goes. Well, this person, posted on their story and was just like, yo, add this new account because I'm sick of all these fake ass people being on this account. I was like, oh, okay. Add this person. And, they post on their story a picture of someone and, like, and I was just like, wait, what the fuck is this? Because for extra context, this was a girl, and I'm just like, oh, this kind of fucking sucks. And then, like, because, she had been, like, flirting with me and shit like that before, and she had already said that she had liked me and all this other stuff, but then she turns around in the span of a night and completely stabs me in the back. What does that tell you? Like, doesn't that sound pretty scummy? I mean, what would you do in a situation if you were talking to someone and, you had grown really attached to them, and all of a sudden, just overnight, they just, create a new account, told you to add them if you were close, you add them, and then the first thing you see on that new account is a picture of another boy, and they say that they're dating, after you pretty much established and thought that you and this person were already going to date. So, like, what does that mean? So what do you do in that situation? Fucking nothing. You bite the bullet and you just fucking go with it. I'm not trying to, like, make myself sound like I'm some fucking trooper for taking the heartbreak up the ass and, like, accepting it for what it is. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if this ever happens to you, I'm saying don't be like me and ponder about it for a few days. Because that's what I do. I always sit there and think about it and always think about what I did wrong, and I think that is probably the most natural thing to do. But that's actually not really what you want to do, even if it is the most natural thing to do. You want to bite the bullet and move on. Think about it. It's the summer. All of these girls are just going to be fucking with your feelings and shit like that because they believe in this hot girl summer bullshit. Believe me, I know. You can tell me that I'm pointing out stereotypes and shit like that, but I am not wrong. You can say that I am pointing out the wrong community and the wrong reasoning for this shit, but the amount of people I follow on my Snapchat and my Instagram and all that shit, you would be surprised by how many things I see and how many things can point out to why people do the things that they do. Like, you just have to trust me. Like, and, especially in a situation like this, if a girl were to leave you over the summer, especially this summer, right after the pandemic, especially when all this hot girl summer shit's going on, bite the bullet, move the fuck on, find another girl, fuck another chick, send her a video, do whatever you gotta do to get payback, call it a day. That's just what the boys do. The boys stick together. The boys will do whatever it takes to get a little bit of payback and make, like, do you ever just get that feeling where you're just like, you know what, I want to get payback on this person. Like, not because they necessarily did something wrong to you, but it's just because, it's just something that they did. Like, it's not even, like, necessarily wrong because, this girl, like, kind of, like, leaving me for, like, another dude, she didn't necessarily do anything wrong because we didn't even establish a relationship. I just felt a little bit stabbed in the back because we had become good friends and I was expecting more. I just set myself up for failure. That wasn't her fault. Holy shit, I beat that in minute 30. Did you guys see that shit? Alright, anyways, so But I mean, I don't know. It's not something that I would sit and ponder about if it ever happens to you, right? I mean, when you sit there and you think about it and you listen to sad music and you do all the things that sad people do, or at least like what sad people you do what sad people might do for a few days, don't do that. Only ruins your mental health a lot more. And you know what? It's only a girl. You know what? I like Eminem and Drake said, women come and go, Saturday through Sunday, Sunday through Monday, and I apologize for that voice crack. But yes, women do come every day of the fucking week. All you gotta do is just put in a little bit of effort. If you're unhappy and you want someone to be with, just, put in a little bit of effort. Be a little bit corny, be a little bit cheesy, do all the shit that, like, take the time to, like, really establish what girls would actually want, so that way you don't have to deal with that heartbreak anymore. And sometimes it's unavoidable, but at least then it will lower your chances, right? Like, I mean, for me, you know, I snap people, but I don't necessarily do it with the intention for dating. Or, like, I talk to people on social media, but I don't do it for the intention of dating. I do it to get to know people so I can understand people's backstories. So that way I can understand, like, maybe if I were to try to get into a relationship, I could understand some of their hardships and problems, so that way I can help them through it later. Like, I could sit here and talk for hours about the different things that I've heard and how I can tell, like, what different issues that people have and all that. Like, I can go into a huge thing about mental health, and it's a tough subject to really get into. So, here, 1 second. I will be back. Alright, sorry about that. I had to talk to my mother real quick. That was my bad. But, where was I? Oh, yes. So, actually, the stream might. Alright, there we go. Okay. So, anyways, back to what I was talking about. So, mental health, I could explain a lot about it to you. I'm not. It's relatively important to me, not because I like struggle with it, like struggle with like mental health or anything, but I don't know. It's just something that I've always wanted to kind of be on top of because of just how many people I talk to, and I do care about a lot of people. I have a lot of feelings for people, except for obviously if you piss me off. Probably made that point very clear earlier, but you know, I hate to see people who like suffer and shit like that. So basically, I like to talk to a few people, help help them through a few things. You know, as you could tell through some of the stories I've told, like, you know, that girl in that story I told about my ex-girlfriend and all of that, and just how fucked up that was, and, you know, trying to help her a little bit. But anyways, so basically, if I'm going to break it down as simply as possible, being able to read someone is really not that hard, especially after you talk to enough people. It's think of it as just like one of your senses. Like it's a sixth sense that you can just kind of tell. Like you can pick apart someone's life within like an hour of talking to them. Because say you were on Snapchat with someone, and I'm just gonna use a girl as an example because they're, you know, they're kind of like some of the easier ones to really use, and I'm not like calling them out or trying to make them, you know, feel insecure. I'm just saying this strictly just because that's just commonly where I see it, and there's supposed to be no shade thrown in this example at all. So think about it this way. When a girl, so say you're snapping a girl, and say you snap a picture of your face, and they instantly respond 2 seconds later and they say, hey, you're pretty hot, or you're pretty cute, or whatever. You know, that's honestly, I'm just going to keep it real, that's a pretty big red flag, believe it or not, about their past. And you can say that I'm bullshitting, but if you really think about it, I'm not necessarily wrong. So, when you think about someone's past, you think about maybe some kind of trauma that happened. Or, you know, maybe they, you know, I won't get into that right now. But, you know, when you hear something like that, what might you assume at first? Especially if you're not really too familiar with talking to new people. You might assume, like, oh, hey, maybe I just got lucky and this person actually thinks I'm cute. Well, it goes deeper than that. So if someone is going to come right off the bat and tell you that you are attractive off the first picture, you know, not any build up to it at all. If a girl tells you that you're attractive, chances are they were either heartbroken as of recently and have just gotten out of a relationship, or in the past they have been in a very serious relationship that did not end in the way that they wanted to, so they're trying to get attached to someone else who might make them feel better. And, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I could honestly be wrong about that one, because that's probably like one of the most broad, like, things that you could try to pick apart, but the idea is still there, right? I mean, like, I could be wrong, but I'm also not necessarily wrong, because, you know, the points still add up. It's just there's no evidence to it, but for the sake of the argument, we're just going to say that it's true. But the next point I'm going to bring up is where things start to get a little bit serious, and I'm kind of hoping, you know, like, this doesn't get, like, super serious, but it does need to be brought to people's attention, so maybe that way you know. And so if a girl starts to, like, if you, like, say you start snapping for a few hours, maybe even a few days, and they start to send you some, a little bit more, like, provocative pictures, not nudes, but, like, you know, maybe pictures of them in, like, the shower, or, like, maybe pictures of, like, their titties almost hanging out, like, just weird shit. This is, like, the next red flag that you're gonna encounter. Unless they have, like, assuming that they haven't already opened up to you about it already, the chances are, if they're gonna do shit like that willingly, it's either they're a hoe. I'm sorry, that's, like, you know, that's always an option. I'm sorry to admit it, but it is. It's either they're a hoe, or they have a really rough past. And, you know, that rough past it can be sexual assault. It could be abuse. It could be a poor relationship with their parents. It could be they could have had an abusive relationship. They could have, like, you know, there's a lot of things that could contribute to that, because in their mind, if any of that is true, especially the sexual assault part, like, women will feel so degraded that they will feel that nothing about them really matters besides their body, so they will try to show it off to people. And, you know, that's how a lot of people become, you know, prostitutes and strippers and even porn stars, because, like, you know, chances are they were honestly probably molested when they were younger, and, you know, they feel that they have no other purpose in life besides, you know, do that, because that's the only thing that'll make people happy. And it's very sad to think. And even if you don't think that is completely true, you have to admit that to some degree, the sexual interaction there has to bring some kind of reminder of it, almost, that they almost enjoy, like, almost in a psychotic way. And I'm not trying to call them a psychopath, but it's some kind of brain disconnection that most people can't understand. because I'm not a porn star, I'm not a hooker, I'm not a stripper. I wouldn't know. I've never been sexually assaulted. I wouldn't know. So you can't say that I'm right or wrong. But every time I have talked to someone about it after they've, you know, done stuff like that, like I've been in this situation, I've tried talking to them about it and just been like, have you been like sexually assaulted? Because I'm very good at reading people and just how they, how they operate and their habits and their tics and their just all that shit. And it might make me sound creepy, but it's not. It's me just trying to analyze what might be in people's best interest and how I can help them. That's all it is. And back to the whole entire thing with it just being a disconnection that we'll never understand. If you've never been sexually assaulted, or if you have never been abused, or if you have never had a bad relationship with your parents, honestly, I'm sorry, but you have no room to talk and call these people out for being in the wrong for what they do. They cannot help it. There is a disconnection that we cannot connect unless if it happens to us. You can say that a person who is a victim of sexual assault is at fault for dressing provocatively, or you can say that it is their fault for even existing or being around the person in the first place. But that does not take away from the fact that you are in the wrong for saying that it is that person's fault, and you are also in the wrong for saying that it shouldn't mentally scar them. That's messed up. If you say that something like that won't mentally scar someone, get the fuck out. Okay? Like, that is the black and white of it. No tolerance for it. If anything wrong happens to someone and it affects and it mentally scars them for the rest of their life, you don't ever put the blame on them. Never. You just don't do that. Oh, hey, 101. But, and if you have ever done that, like if you have ever blamed someone for getting raped or getting assaulted or beaten or having a bad relationship with their parents, or say one of their parents even left, if you blame someone for that, you're a scumbag. You deserve to rot in hell. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. You don't blame someone for shit that they can't control. And with that being a mental disconnection that a lot of people can't connect to, think of it as like what I talked about a few days ago. At least I think I talked about it. A lot of this shit starts to mold together after a while, so I apologize if I'm just repeating myself. But, it's the same thing with the mental gap between gender. Men and women will never be able to understand each other. Women will want certain things and men will want certain things, but only they themselves will be able to understand why they want it. Men may want video games because it makes them happy, but it goes a little bit deeper in that. It's because men or guys who play video games get closer to mostly other men. Like, I'm not going to discount the fact that women also play video games. I know they do. But mostly other men. It's a good place to meet friends. It's a good escape. You think about nothing. You just sit there, you vibe, you sweat, you have fun. You do your thing. That's something that men want. But that is also a mental disconnection that most women have. Like, some women play video games. And you know what? Actually, I'll go with a good majority of women play video games. And sometimes that mental disconnection isn't there. But for the ones, like, where the mental disconnection is there, they'll never understand. Because you can explain it to, say, your girlfriend, or your mom, or even your grandma, or your aunt, as much as you want. But they won't understand. Like, assuming that they don't already play video games. They probably won't understand. They might be intrigued, but they'll never actually seek to understand and try it for themselves. Same way how men don't really see how it's necessary or fun to apply makeup, or, take showers and make sure that your hair looks nice and, get dressed up. Like, there's a mental disconnection that you will never be able to understand. And it is a similar concept with anyone who has a rough backstory. You will never be able to understand if none of that shit has ever happened to you. It's like, I want to be able to make that as clear as possible. Like, you cannot judge someone for having a rough past, and you cannot judge someone for how they act based on their past, because they cannot help it. They do not know any better, because chances are they didn't receive any help for it. Either that, or they just learn to cope with it in their own way, and it just happened to not be in the right way. Right? Like drugs, alcohol, prostitution. Like, and I hate actually using prostitution and shit like that as like a prime example, but I mean, I'm not necessarily wrong. And if you do your research, I mean, you might be kind of shocked. I mean, I'm just saying. And, honestly, I think I'm gonna like start to maybe wind down the stream here within the next 10 minutes, because this is getting a little bit serious, maybe a bit too deep, and I don't really want to go down that hole, but I do like, making some things pretty self-aware. Like, I like opening people's eyes to maybe a new way of perceiving life and shit like that. I know I don't always do commentary videos because I'm actually commonly very nervous to talk in front of audiences of people, but you know what? As soon as I get into the deep shit and I know what I'm talking about, I will be fine. And if you want to see more commentary videos and maybe hear me talk more like this, more like a philosophy, like from like more of like a philosophy standpoint, it might be a little bit harder for me to come up with subjects for videos, but I will definitely still do it, and I will gladly do it. But that's the point, like, where I might actually have to switch up the streaming schedule, which is not something I'm looking forward to doing, and I don't want to do it because the way it's working out right now is actually perfectly fine. So, if you do want to just have me, like, just talk a shit ton, maybe not, like, barely play video games, I'm still gonna, like, play, like, Call of Duty and shit like that. But right now, I'm just gonna chill because it's a Friday, we're having fun. And, I decided to play a little bit of CSGO while I talked for a little bit, just to kind of wrap up the week and, kind of sum up a few things, And, for these next 10 minutes, I'm actually gonna finish up a few thoughts, and then I'm gonna run down the stream. So, for closing thoughts on basically what I've talked about today, don't be an asshole, okay? You should know when you're being an asshole. You should know when too far is too far, and I'm not calling out any specific group of people, and I'm not calling anyone an asshole right off the bat, because I don't know everyone, I don't know the reasoning and all that shit. And, bottom line is, today, maybe try to talk to someone. Like, I don't know, like, I don't want to be that guy who's just like, set a goal for today. Like, fuck that shit, it's fucking bullshit. But, like, maybe sometime within your lifetime, like, at least soon, maybe try talking to someone new and see if maybe if you can pick up on anything that I might have told you. Is if, like, if someone's shy. That's actually another point I never really got into that I can actually get into after I get done explaining this. At some point, just try talking to someone and see if you can learn their backstory, and maybe see if you can understand, like, where they might come from, like, with differing opinions and outlooks on life, I mean, you can hear me blabber on about it all day, but it's not fact until you do it yourself, right? So why don't you go try it? Why don't you go try to help someone else? Or at least maybe try to understand, so that way you can help other people. And maybe be able to, gain yourself a little bit of knowledge that you maybe never really thought that you would want to learn or even know you would ever learn. Because, learning about the mind is actually very interesting, and seeing how it works, and, seeing some of the mental disconnections that people may have, interests, like, different interests, different beliefs, even fucking fetishes, like, all that shit is interesting. Like, it's cool. It's what makes everyone unique. And I feel like a lot of times it's actually taken for granted. And it's cool. Like, even if you don't think it's cool, I mean, I would say I made a pretty entertaining bit on, the mind and shit like that. I mean, if you disagree with me, then fair enough, but I'd say it's pretty cool. But one more point that I just said I was going to make that I forgot to talk about, is when someone is shy. Like, if someone comes off as shy, and, like, they don't talk to you a whole lot, but, like, there's still a connection there, that you still appreciate each other's company and all that shit. Just know that person has probably been through quite a bit, at least in terms of relationships. Because this is honestly probably one of the most common ones, is that when someone's shy, they've probably been in a lot of relationships, and none of them have probably ended well. And, I would treat that with a lot of respect. If you're an ambitious person and you're instantly just for some reason like, send me nudes or I'm horny type shit, don't do that. Never do that. That's fucked up. Unless it's like the feeling is mutual and you're literally just there just to get a few nudes, or maybe even get some drive over, sneak out, get some pussy, then so be it. But, like, if you're actually trying to, like, talk to someone, never be like that. It's scummy. It's annoying. It's just a sign of respect. Because, once again, you don't know what their life is like. You don't know what their backstory's like. Treat them with respect. And just, you know, live your life and treat them how you would want to be treated, right? If you have your own mental issues, you wouldn't want to be asked for nudes or just asked a bunch of like weird questions and shit like that. You just wouldn't want that to happen to you because you wouldn't know how to react, and chances are you'd probably break down and never trust anyone again. So just keep that in mind about anyone that you talk to. It's very degrading, and it's degrading to, you know, listen to people rip into other people who just don't understand, you know. And I feel like I made that point very clear, but you know what, sometimes you just cannot make it clear enough because a lot of people are ignorant, and people will do anything to get their way. They will call out anyone's faults, and they will call out anyone's backstory just to get an upper hand on some kind of argument or just something. And it's, you know, it's pretty pathetic sometimes. Oh, hey, what's going on, man? I see you out here in the chat, but yeah, you know, I wouldn't sleep on other people's issues and shit like that. But, you know, just, like I said, try to talk to someone and maybe understand, maybe, oh, hey, what's going on, man? I'm doing all right. You know, just talking about some, mental health stuff, you know, just thought I'd have a nice little chat today about that. You know what it do. Yeah, the stream might be a little laggy. I'm not really, I don't know. I don't really have like the most perfect streaming setup. I'm just kind of here, you know, just trying some shit. But yeah, I feel like, you know, maybe a lot of people just need to kind of understand a lot of the issues that people have to go through, and you know, it'll get there someday. It'll definitely get there someday. All good, and good luck and have fun, man. Hey, bro, I appreciate it. I really do. Anyways, you know, man, you have a good day. And just as a reminder, if you're gonna stick around, try to talk to someone today, and you know, maybe get to know someone, and maybe understand someone's backstory, unless you've already left. And you know, but anyways, here we go. Final thoughts. Like I said, I've said this enough. Don't be an asshole. You know, just that's like the bottom line. Never be an asshole to someone, unless if it's deserved. Okay, and. What else? I mean, if there's anything else I need to touch up on, I'll probably think about it at some point. I don't know. You know, I'll just end the stream, honestly. I've said all I've need to say. I'm lost for words, and I'm honestly making myself sound like a fucking idiot. So, you know, I'm gonna end the stream there. I hope everyone has a great day. You know, it's Friday. At least here, at least it was sunny. It's a little cloudy right now, but you know what, if it's a nice day, go outside, have some fun, go get some exercise. You know what it do. You know, I wish everyone luck on their endeavors, and you know, I love each and every person on this planet until I'm provoked, and just remember that. So stay on my good side. Love you all. Peace and love, baby. Catch you in the next one.